It's really crazy how life works out sometimes. It almost feels like there is a path or a plan laid out specifically for you. That is exactly how I fell into beekeeping. So I have family members from my past that were beekeepers, but I only got to meet one of them before they all passed. But still, somehow, I found myself here beekeeping. I started beekeeping 3 years ago when a friend of mine had said he went in on some hives with another beekeeper. But the beekeeper ended up backing out, so he had these 2 empty hives with nothing to do. So he asked if I wanted them. If you haven't noticed already, I don't say no to any opportunity, no matter how crazy it may sound. I knew nothing about bees. But I figured, heck, it can't be that hard. So I jumped right in, literally head first, into beekeeping. My first experience with the bees was me in a cheap suit off of Amazon, no smoke, and the task to do a walkaway split. Well, just by me sharing that little bit of info with you, I'm sure that you know that splitting a hive in August, let me say, with no smoke and a cheap bee suit is a complete disaster for a new beekeeper. I couldn't even count how many stings I had. I could barely even lift the box off of it to carry it to its new location. And the bees were so mad that they literally chased me a quarter mile back to my house. Let's just say that experience was an experience, but it was actually a blessing in disguise, because after that I consumed anything and everything beekeeping in hopes that that mess would never happen again. And I am so glad I did, because have you ever gotten that feeling that this is what you were put on this world to do? That is exactly how I feel, and I get to share that with all of you. So, enjoy the show. I've got a fun one for y'all today. Today, I'm going to show you what to look for to figure out whether or not your hive is queenless. Unfortunately, a couple of my colonies did not make it in terms of mating. When I went through them yesterday, I saw that they were completely queenless, and there were a couple signs I'm going to show you for how I knew they were queenless from the moment I opened that lid. So I am also going to show you guys, I'm going to do a newspaper combine, because I also have these nukes in here that also have mated queens in them. A very nice friend that follows the channel, he reached out and I got these queens from him. They are local, so that was very nice. But I'm going to combine these onto those, and yeah, so let's get started. Newspaper, queens. Alright, so the first thing that is pretty obvious to tell if you're queenless or not is if they don't have any eggs and they don't have any brood, then they're probably queenless. Yes, correct. But what I'm going to show you today is another way that you can tell. So I'm going to show you firsthand how the bees act when they're queenless. They act a specific way. They kind of create this like roar, and they just walk around on the comb, just kind of like just walking aimlessly, not really knowing where they're going, all flapping their wings. I saw this back in this last spring when I was dealing with the queenless hive, and I was very alarmed because I had no idea what the bees were doing and why they were acting like that. But now I know how. Now I know why. So let me show you. I don't know, something seems off. Like they're not even moving around correctly. Like they just seem, I don't know if this makes sense, but as a beekeeper, they usually act and do a certain thing and act a certain way. Also, I'm not seeing any brood. Yeah, something's not right. I don't know, look at the way they're acting on this frame. I don't know, to the untrained eye it probably looks normal, but any experienced beekeepers out there, yeah, they're not acting the same. They're acting weird. And I think you could probably see this too. It's really not that hot out, so why are they all sitting here fanning their wings? I don't know. When I checked on these hives yesterday morning, this is exactly what I saw the moment I cracked the lid. So I didn't even have to go through those frames. I did anyways, but I didn't even have to. I knew immediately that they were queenless just because of the way they were acting. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to combine these colonies onto these. That way I get a 100% success rate for my mated queens. I can't afford any losses right now. It's getting really close to winter time, as you all know. So yeah, definitely can't afford any losses. This way of combining queens, like I said, is pretty much 100% success rate. So what you're gonna do is, it's super simple. You just take yourself a piece of newspaper and you put it on here without the wind blowing it all over the place. And then you take your colony and all you do is just place it on top. So what's gonna happen here is that queen's pheromone is going to be able to pass through the bottom so that the bottom part of the hive can get used to her pheromone. And then they're gonna start chewing on that newspaper and break it up so that they can then get down into it and just combine the whole entire hive. So I'm gonna leave it like this for a couple days, and then I'm gonna come back and check on it to see how they're doing. So I'll check back in when that happens. Hey guys, welcome back. It's been exactly 1 week since I spoke with you last, and that is the perfect time to go and check on these colonies that I did the newspaper combines and see if the queens are still laying, and just checking in and see how they're doing. So let's go look. I'm also going to be trying out this today. I got this from Blythewood Bee Co. It's a frame grip to make taking frames out a million times easier. I thought this might make my job a little quicker and more efficient, so we'll see how I like it. So after I put these queens in these colonies with the newspaper combined, I watched some videos to make sure I did it right. Kind of did that a little backwards. I probably should have done that first, but just the way my life kind of played out in that moment, they just had to get done and I didn't look it up. So what I saw though is a lot of people cut slits in the newspaper. I don't really know if that is a 100% requirement, so we're about to find out if it really makes a difference or not. And they said they do that so that the bees can slowly start combining and work their way so that they're one solid colony. And I also noticed that a lot of colonies, they did not have an upper entrance at all. And with these boxes, I do have holes in the top box that has the newspaper and whatnot in it. So yeah, I don't know. So we'll see how it worked out. I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but yeah, we're about to see. Okay, so apparently it does not make a difference if you put slits in it or not, because they ended up chewing a hole themselves. So this is actually perfect. But one thing that I am seeing that does not make me very happy. So we're starting to get some pretty cold nights and mornings. So that means you don't really want a checkerboard anymore, because there were not enough bees to keep this brood warm, and now it's dead. And then I also saw, let me see if I can find it. You see that little worm thing right there? Yeah, that is a small hive beetle larva. Looks like they have gotten to this frame because the brood died and all the bees moved down. So I'm gonna freeze these frames to help clean them out. But yep, it looks like it's that time of year that you do not want to be keeping frames very far apart. I've usually always said once it starts going below 60 at nighttime, maybe you might be able to get away with 58 degrees. Anything below that, you don't really want a checkerboard, because you will have issues, you will have chilled brood.
And that's just not fun. You really don't want to deal with that. So yeah. And just like that, now we have eggs coating every single one of these cells, or every single one of these, this frame. I don't know if you can see it. But like I said, it works great. Pretty much guarantees the success rate of your queen. So newspaper combines really work. So since it is now getting a little bit too cold to be able to put frames in bottom box and top box and kind of put them a little bit of a distance apart, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something else. I took all of the frames that were in that colony and I moved them down here into this box that's going to go on top. And then I took all the empty frames and I put those on here. So the whole idea with this is all of the frames on the bottom are going to be empty, and then all of their brood nests, their honey, everything is going to be up top. They're not going to like this because when they come in with nectar or pollen or anything that they come in with, they like to be able to just put it immediately on that frame. They'll pass it to another bee, and then that bee will put it into a cell. So that way it's super quick and efficient, and they can just come right back and get more whatever is being brought in. So when they're gonna have to go all the way up to the second box, they're not gonna like that. So they're gonna end up drawing out this bottom box, in theory. So we're gonna see how this works. We'll check back in a couple weeks to see what happens, but yeah. Ooh, holy smokes. That's what I like to see. This is the top box. Look at that. That looks great. Here's another one of those black bees I've always talked about. But this one doesn't look like it's sick because it still has all of its hairs. But look at how black its entire body is. Like I said before, I'm noticing that a lot of my bees are getting pretty dark and are losing the amount of orange that they have in themselves. And here's my queen. She's kind of hiding. She is a darker queen. She is absolutely beautiful. And she's got eggs in every single one of these cells, so they're looking good. And nice to see they also chewed a hole in the newspaper. So really doing slits, you don't really have to. You can just put a piece of newspaper straight right there on the box, and they will take care of the rest. So that is perfect. It looks like she has currently not worked her way down into this bottom box yet. There's no eggs in there, but that's okay. Now that I removed the newspaper, it's probably going to be a little bit easier for her to get down in there, so she'll go down and start laying eggs. This makes me so happy. Well, I guess maybe it is a good idea to cut slits. Maybe it's dependent upon the colony. Because now that I'm in this hive, what I'm seeing is dead bees. No one likes seeing that. They have a little slit over there that they chewed out, but apparently they didn't get to it in time. So I have some dead bees in here that starved to death, which is never something that a beekeeper likes to see, but we all make mistakes. What's important is that you learn from your mistakes. So maybe it is important to cut slits in the newspaper when you do a newspaper combine. Now the question is whether or not the queen made it. Lucky for me, when I put all of these colonies on, I'll put a video up, I was so amazed that I found a death ball on one of the frames. They were killing a queen in a hive that already had a queen. So I was like, what the heck, there's two queens in here. I saved that queen, put her in a cage, and I put her over here with some frames in a separate colony. I figured there must have been a reason why there was two queens in that colony. Maybe this is the reason. If the queen ended up dying, I can just plug her into here. So let's see if there's any eggs. Oh man, I hate seeing this. This is seriously the worst thing to see. Now let's see if we can see a queen in here. Usually they will try their best to make sure she stays alive. These look like they're all just regular bees that end up dying. Oh, actually, I got my frame grip. So far using this is actually great. It makes it so much easier to take out the first frame. Oh. Make sure you hold on to the box. It's really funny how things work out sometimes. The fact that I have this extra queen that I can use in this colony, and yeah, it's gonna work out perfect. So I'm gonna take this colony that I have here, and I'm just gonna plug it right on top of the other one with some newspaper, but with slits over it this time. Okay, so this one, I did see eggs in it, but I did not see the queen. And the only reason why I'm like, if I did not see the queen, I'm a little nervous, is because there was only 2 frames of bees in there. And the frames I put in there had a lot of honey on it. There was only one little teeny tiny space for the queen to lay. So I may have just made another mistake. Maybe this video will be about mistakes. So hopefully she didn't swarm, but I'm gonna check back in a couple days to see if I see any more eggs. And if I don't, then it looks like colony number 4 is going to be combined with all the rest of them to help strengthen them. So, yeah. Things happen sometimes. Like I keep saying, what's important is that you learn from them. There we go. That's a good look. I like to see that. Cool. All right, we do have some eggs, so that's good. We have some brood. Oh, and there's our queen. Right there. Nice blonde one this time. So they also did not chew through it, except this little spot right here, which isn't really big. So, okay, 2 of the colonies ended up working out, but the other 2 did not. So I guess, yes. It is important. You do need to put slits in the newspaper, just in case they're not able to chew it through. It might have something to do with how strong the colony is. So these ones are probably a little bit weaker, so that's why they didn't bite through it. But like I said, lesson learned. There's only one way you learn, and that's by trying. And just by trying, you're doing more than most people would, because most people don't even try. So you can pat yourself on the back for that. Okay, now this is hilarious. I've got 2 queens in this colony. Of course I do. Why does this seem to keep happening to me? But at the same time, this is actually great. So I noticed I was seeing eggs in some of these cells in this lower box, and I was like, I doubt the queen went through that tiny hole to get from box to box. And well, would you look at that? Yep, I've got another queen. So I guess that kind of solves my problem with hive number 4. Maybe that's where their queen went, actually. All right, so what I ended up doing is I swapped the box on that one, the top box, with that one, so that the queen that was in the top box over here is now over here. Made sure there's a newspaper underneath that does have holes in it, so it doesn't happen again. So now we're looking good over here with the nukes. Everybody has queens now that are laying. Now all we're waiting on is for them to build up, which, yes, I'm getting very nervous about that, because a lot of these colonies are not built up to the strength that they need to be for winter yet. They still have comb to build, and bees don't really build comb once it starts getting warm. And yes, I've been feeding like crazy. But I'm thinking I'm going to have to buy some containers to put on top of each one of these hives, because what I was reading was in order to get them to build comb, you need to feed them sugar water at a very, very high rate. Otherwise, you're just going to use whatever you're feeding them as food and fuel. So, this is something that Mike Palmer said, that you need to be feeding them so that they have all of this sugar water and they're like, holy smokes, where am I going to put this? So that they start drawing wax and building comb. So I'm probably going to have to do that. I'm not really sure how I'm going to set these up yet with that. I could possibly drill a hole in these and put a little disc on it so that I can open and close it, or I can just do it the cheap way, drill a hole and put tape on it. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what I decide to do. I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. But I'm happy to see, like I said, all of these are finally mated and they are all laying. So that is really good to see going into winter. It's a little late. It is already September 15th or something like that. It is September 17th right now as I'm speaking. So yeah, temps are going to start dropping here soon. So it looks like I'm going to be racing against the clock. But like I said before, all of this was a risk that I decided to do. And the consequences for those risks I am definitely willing to take, because the upside of these all possibly succeeding is far greater. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, I have a complaint that I need help with. So my smoker, whenever I close this lid too tight, I can't get it open. Like, it is on there. I'm trying to shove my hive tool in there to see if I can bend it to pop it off, but it's still not coming off. So I don't know if there's a better design for a smoker or if some company has figured this out. If you have, please contact me, because this smoker is just a smoker off of Amazon. It's by Honeykeeper. I can't get the lid off. Help, please. Oh, thank God. Finally. That was not easy to get off. Whew. Okay, as you can see, we're racing against the sun right now. I did not plan for me to be doing this late. In all honesty, my life has been pretty chaotic the last week and a half. A lot of changes have been happening, some good, some bad. Well, I guess nothing's really bad. Everything is good to an extent, as long as you're willing to wait long enough to see what the good will end up being. So anyways, yeah, let's check on this hive. This hive looks so obnoxiously large. It's actually kind of funny. But this is what I hope for them to all look like. And this is actually what my strongest colony looks like. At least until I split more off of it, but that's all right. Oh, that's right. I got this now. Just gotta be careful with the squishy bees. That's the only thing about it. Man, it's so hard to see when it gets dark and you got a screen over your face. Oof. Okay, hold on. I need my flashlight. Oh no, would you look at that? That's really easy to look at. And we got some eggs over here. That brood looks kind of weird probably to you, but it is healthy, I promise. Interesting to see the spotty brood pattern. They may have some hygienic abilities. So it's kind of a cool thing to see. This is a foundationless frame. I probably should not be doing this how I'm doing it right now, but that's all right. I was literally like, okay, so here's the newspaper. And then I was like, oh, cool. And then I was like, wait, where's the newspaper? And I was really confused. Yeah, so they ate through the whole entire thing. So that's actually very convenient that they did that. All right, so the thing I'm noticing with this tool is sometimes when the frames are really in there, you still got to break them apart with your hive tool before you can take it out with this. But I really like this makes taking the first frame out really easy. Yeah, we got some nice comb there. So I'm going to stick that in one of the nukes. Man, that sun really sets fast, doesn't it? It is like 8 o'clock right now, maybe 8:30. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm moving these frames that they already have built up and they have honey and whatnot in them. I'm moving them to the outside, so I'm gonna put those brood frames in the center, just how they like, with one frame that is not built out yet right in the middle of them, so that they build it out. This colony has a lot of bees in it, so I can do that. It's the nukes you have to be careful with when it starts getting really cold. Well, not even really cold, even when it starts getting below 60, you got to be careful with those nukes. As you can see, oh wait, what was that? I think I'm gonna start experimenting with foundationless because it's a lot easier, I feel like. I'm definitely never gonna do wax foundation again. I'm probably just gonna do both plastic and foundationless because I like being able to do cutouts of queens. So I'll probably just do a mix of both so that I am able to do that. But I do like the Premier foundation that's triple wax. I found that it works absolutely great. And they build it out perfectly. I did just get some acorn frames, so we'll see how those go, and I'll let you know what I think about those in comparison to the Premier. They look pretty similar, just the color scheme's a little different. Man, it's getting dark really fast. Brick goes down. Actually, I don't even need to put the brick on there because this one's perfectly fine, so put over there for now. Oh, poor Lucy. The one with 60 plus mites in a wash. Good to see that they're still bearding. All right, so I'm gonna end it now before the sun sets anymore because it's setting pretty quickly, but it looks like my colonies are doing pretty good. I have queens and everything finally that are laying. It's a little late for that. Yes, I know. Luckily it's still been like 70 degrees most days. We've had 3 days that were like 59 degrees and raining all day. Those are the days I think that I got a little bit of chilled brood in those frames that I showed you. Well, not a little bit, a lot of chilled brood. It was definitely chilled brood. So yeah, thanks for following along. As always, I'm happy to have you guys here. It really means so much to me, so thank you so much. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll catch you guys soon.